Good morning, Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center. Carlos Rosas here, case manager, here for your virtual orientation. Okay, and just a couple things we need to go through. Once again, this orientation is geared towards students who have not yet sat through an orientation. So if you have, you can definitely feel free to excuse yourself, unless there is information that you would like to go over. So this is, oops, let me change that date there. This is orientation for June 2nd, 2021. I would ask that you all make sure that you make your presence known. That's how we get our funding. That's how we get our attendance. Okay, attendance is extremely important. So what you can do if you're tuning in, you can type your name and your teacher's name in the chat box. Extremely important. So please make sure that you do that. That's how we can account for your attendance in case anyone asks if you were present or not. Okay, there will be some time for Q&A later on in the orientation. So if you have any questions, you can certainly feel free to type them into the chat box, and we will get around to those a little bit later. All right. Once again, for those of you who are just joining us, the name is Carlos Rosas. I'm the case manager, well, a case manager here at Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center. We've got quite a few really good case managers as well. Got some comments coming out in the chat box here. Hello, Johanna Rincon. Hello, Carlo Teneo Drago Owele. Welcome one, welcome all. Okay, some information that we need to go through. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. And I apologize, I know this is a little bit confusing once you're looking at it, but just get my presentation up on the screen. Okay, so here we are. Welcome to Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center, located in Central Harlem. Passion, patience, perseverance, persistence, possibilities. These are principles that we believe in here in Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center. Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center is part of Adult Education District 79. We are the only office in New York City public schools that caters to learners ages 21 and older. Okay? We are, once again, New York City Department of Education. So whatever applies to the K through 12 world applies to us. So if the students in the public schools are off because of a snow day, we are off because of a snow day. If the students in K through 12 are off because of a holiday, we are off for a holiday. The students in K through 12 are off for a break. We have that same break. Okay, so that's just good information to know. Okay, as I mentioned, we are located at 212 West 120th Street in Central Harlem. Our phone number is 212-666-1919. Once you get the prompt, the automated prompt, you can then dial your extension. If you're not sure who to contact, you can always dial 0 for the operator and ask for whoever it is you need to speak to, or just explain what your situation is, and they'll be happy to direct you to the proper person or department. Okay? We are close to 125th Street, which is the main artery of Harlem. So pretty much accessible by any bus or train that comes through here, whether you're talking about the Metro North, whether you're talking about the East Side trains, the West Side trains. Okay, we're all within walking distance. Okay? So that's good information for you to know if you are traveling by mass transit. If you are driving, I would ask that you seriously consider taking mass transit when we return live. Just because of the parking situation right here, it's not always the easiest. After 10 o'clock, it does get a little bit easier, but again, there's no guarantees. All right? Okay, these are acronyms for some terms that you'll be hearing every now and then, just in case you're unclear. ESL means English as a Second Language. Those are classes that are geared towards students who have little to no English language skills. ABE is Adult Basic Education. Okay, these classes are geared towards students who are preparing for the high school equivalency, formerly known as the GED. Okay, the GED has been privatized, so the new term that we are using is HSC, or high school equivalency. We'll get to that in a minute. CTE is career and technical education classes. These are classes that we offer at both our main site here in Central Harlem and at Co-op Tech, which is one of our off-sites on East 96th Street. GED is graduate equivalency degree. Again, that term is being outdated. The new term is HSC, or high school equivalency. MMALC is Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center. TABE, T-A-B-E, that's Testing for Adult Basic Education. That is the exam that most students will take when they are entering to take the basic education classes live here in Mid-Manhattan. Okay? And then, of course, there's TASC, Test Assessing Secondary Completion, which gets you the high school equivalency diploma. Formerly, this was known as the GED exam. Okay, requirements. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, we serve students who are 21 years of age and up. All right, so that would definitely be one of the requirements. Anyone who is interested in our program but has not yet turned 21 must remain within the K through 12 system. All right, and they do cater up until the June that you are 21 years old. Okay, also you must reside in the 5 boroughs of New York City: Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens. Unfortunately, we cannot service you if you live in New Jersey, if you live in Long Island, if you live up in the counties, Westchester, Yonkers, Dutchess. Unfortunately, we do not service students who live in those areas. Our basic education classes for task preparation, our ESL classes and our CTE classes are held at different times on different days. Okay, what you're looking at here is very general information. Is it possible that we will have a schedule that does not fit within the confines of this? Absolutely. But by and large, our classes meet Mondays through Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. That's if you're interested in an all-day class. We also have classes that meet Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. There are afternoon classes. These classes meet from 12:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. There are evening classes, and those classes will go from Tuesdays to Thursdays from 5:40 p.m. to 9 p.m. Our Saturday classes are intensives, which meet from 8:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. School registration, fairly simple process. When you're applying for classes online, this is the application that you'll find. It's called the inquiry form. Okay, and it's going to ask for some personal information. You would submit it. Case manager's office gets those requests, and we get in touch with you, try to accommodate you as best we can. Okay. Now again, these are inquiry forms for online classes. By and large, as per the mayor and governor's orders, we are returning live full-time, so no more online classes as of July 6, 2021. Everything will be live here in the building. Okay, so if you're in a remote class, enjoy the class, and when we resume classes for the summer in July, assuming that you are joining us for the summer classes, that will be live. Okay, no one is required to do summer school. That is entirely your choice. All right, but it may not be a bad idea to make the sacrifice for a couple of weeks if it's going to put you in a better position in the long run. Okay, so you have to set up a D79 account in order to participate in our online classes. So this is a video I'm going to share with you, and it will explain the process. If you have any questions at any point, what you can do is write your questions in the chat box, and we'll definitely get back to you when we're done. Okay? So I'm going to put a closed caption on this video so that you're able to follow along with everything I'm saying. If you're watching this video, you've been accepted into a class at Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center for the fall 2020 or spring 2021 semester. So please watch along for some very basic instructions. These instructions are on how to navigate your class. Please note that these instructions are for students who are using a desktop computer, a laptop computer, or a tablet. Though instructions that are specific to cell phones begin at the 7-minute mark, I would encourage everyone to view this video in its entirety because it contains information that's useful for students. And that is regardless of which device they are using. So you received an email that looks like this, and the email will tell you your class schedule. Okay. It'll also give you your teacher's name. Highlighted in yellow, you're going to see an email address for what's called your D79 account. So please note that your teacher is going to be communicating with you. He's going to be communicating with you through your D79 account. So I'm going to explain to you how to set up that account. The first thing you need to do is go to google.com on your browser. When you get to Google, you're going to notice in the upper right-hand corner a blue box with the words sign in. So you can click on that box if you see it in the upper right-hand side of your screen. You might already have a Gmail account, and if you do, you may notice that in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, instead of seeing a blue button with the words sign in, there's going to be a colored circle. And there'll be a letter in the middle. If you see this in the upper right-hand corner, that means you already have a Gmail account. So what you would do is you would click on that colored circle. Once you click on that colored circle, a drop-down menu should appear, and one of the options on this menu should be to add another account. So you would click on the option to add another account. When you've clicked on the blue sign-in button or on the colored circle in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a login screen, and you'll be asked to log in. Your username is highlighted in the yellow in the first email that was sent to you. It'll probably be made up of your first name, a dot, your last name, at D79.com. So if there's any confusion, just know that this is just like logging into any other Gmail address account. Next, the computer is going to ask you for your password. If this is your first time logging in, your default password will be Google123. I'll repeat that. Password is Google123. Please make sure that the first G in Google is capitalized and that there are no spaces in between any of the characters. Then you would click Next. On this screen, you're going to be asked to accept the terms and conditions of these services. You must accept the terms if you're going to participate in a class. Okay, I know there's some mixed feelings about this, but please be rest assured that your privacy and your information is safe and it will not be shared with a third party. Next, you'll be prompted to create a brand new password. And that password is one that only you know. The staff and the teachers of Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center will not have access to this password at all. So please be advised to use a password that you're going to remember easily – and one that you will have accessible at all times. Now you should be able to access your D79 email. Please remember that this email is not to be confused with your personal Gmail account. Anytime your teacher corresponds with you, your teacher is going to be contacting you via your D79 email. So it's very, very important that when you log in, you make sure you're logged in on your D79 account. You want to be on the lookout for an email that's titled Class Invitation. When you see that email, please click on it. When you open your class invitation, you should see your teacher's name and a blue button that says Join. Please click on the blue button that says Join, and you will be directed to your Google Classroom. In this next part of the video, I'm going to explain to you how to navigate your Google Classroom. This is what your Google Classroom will look like. It's very important that you report to your Google Classroom on the appointed day and times that your classes meet. When you arrive to your Google class, make sure that you click on the Meet link. This is where the teachers will meet with students virtually. After your first day of class, you may find that the easiest way to access your Google Classroom is to go to google.com directly. Then in the upper right-hand corner, what you can do is you can click on the 9 dots known as the waffle, and that will give you a drop-down menu. When you see the drop-down menu, you can scroll down and select the Google Classroom. That'll give you a more direct link to your teacher's classroom. Don't forget that you must be logged into your D79 account anytime that you are ready to go into a classroom. Without logging into the D79 account, you will not have access to your Google Classroom. This next section of the video is for those students who are accessing their Google Classroom or their D79 account by cell phone. So whether that's an iPhone or a Samsung, these instructions are also applicable for a tablet. So the first step you want to make is find the Gmail account on your smartphone or device. And that's a standard icon that comes with most iPhones and Samsungs alike. What you can do is click on the icon. If you do not have a Gmail account, this should be a fairly simple procedure for you, because all you have to do is log in with the D79 username and password. If you already have a Gmail account, it's linked to your cell phone. The process is a little bit more involved. So once you click on your Gmail account or icon in the upper right-hand corner, you should see a colored circle like the one pointed out on this clip. You would click on that colored circle. A drop-down menu should appear that will give you the option to add another account. You can click on Add Another Account and then log in with your D79 username and password. Any student who's participating in a class through a smartphone or tablet is strongly advised or encouraged to download the Google Classroom app. You can go to Google, enter Google Classroom into the search engine, and you'll find a link to download or install the Google Classroom. That'll put it directly onto your cell phone or onto your tablet. You'll find that this will simplify the experience of participating in class. We at Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center recognize that this is a challenging time and a challenging way to participate in the class. If you have any questions or concerns regarding any of the processes discussed in this video, feel free to email your case manager or your teacher. Their email addresses can be found on the initial email that was sent to you. We hope to provide you with a positive and a pleasant learning experience. Okay. Again, I will stress that our classes will be returning full-time, by and large, starting in July. So some of this information will be outdated in the coming weeks, but until then, it is information that you'll need to know if you are participating in a virtual class. Once again, I'm going to stress, if you have a personal Gmail account, I'd like for you to sign out of it completely when you're ready to log into your Google Classroom, or you will not be able to get into your D79 email account or your Google Classroom for that matter. The state mandates that all of our students have and use a D79 account. As usually the question that comes up is, well, why do I have to have a D79 account? That's a call made by the state. And so we have to abide by their rules. Okay, let's talk specifically to the people who are here to obtain their task or their high school equivalency diploma. This information is for you. You can take notes, but also know that you can watch a replay of this video anytime you'd like. This video is up on YouTube. It will remain on this link. Even though we're live now, once we're finished, it will remain on the link. And you can go back and get any of this information anytime you'd like. So there are different ways to obtain your task diploma. We're going to talk about that. The first way is the most basic way, which is to take the task exam in its entirety. 5 subtests within that exam: reading, writing with an essay, math, science, and social studies. If you pass each of those sections individually, you will obtain your task diploma. What happens if you don't pass all 5 sections of the exam? Then you've passed the parts that you've passed, and those scores remain valid. But you would then at some point have to go back and pass the sections of the exam that you did not pass. So for instance, if you're taking the task, you passed reading, writing, math, and social studies, but did not pass the science, you can reschedule yourself to take the science exam. A certain amount of time does have to pass in between, so it's not like you'd be able to take your first attempt 1 week and then your second attempt a week later. I believe there's a process of about 3 months waiting period during which that will allow you more time to study and to practice. 24 college credits. If you have 24 college credits, you can bypass the task exam altogether. Now, I've been working for this program for over 10 years at this point, and in that time, I don't think I've met a single student who has attained the 24 college credits. Years ago in New York City, there was a program that was very popular. It was called ASA. And in that program, students were able to start building college credit and work towards their GED. What happened in certain cases is that students got the college credits but never completed their GED. Once again, very rare, but it does happen. If there's somebody watching this broadcast who did indeed obtain 24 college credits through a program like ASA, you can bypass the task exam altogether. Third way of passing the task, and I have to make a correction to something that's on the screen here. It says GED passing scores from 2003 to 2013. There's actually a slight error there. It's passing scores from 2002 to 2013. So if you took the old GED and you pass certain sections of the exam, those sections will be honored. Those passing scores will be honored. So you can use up to 4 sections of the GED that you've passed. Okay, whatever's remaining, you will take on the new task exam, and once you pass, we will combine those all together, and you will have your high school equivalency. Another addition, and this is a 4th way of helping to obtain your diploma, is if you took a Regents exam in high school in one of the core areas. So if you took a math Regents, a history Regents, science Regents, English Regents, those Regents exams, if you've passed them with a score of 65 or higher, will count towards your high school equivalency. So what do I mean? let's say you withdrew from high school in the 11th grade, but during your time in high school, you did pass 1 math Regents and 1 science Regents. Well, congratulations. Those are 2 sections of the task you don't need to worry about. Okay, you just take what's remaining. Now, there was a period of time in New York City where students were allowed to pass with what's called a variance. And that meant that the state would give you a passing score if you had a 55 or higher. Okay. Unfortunately, the years of the variance do not apply towards the task. So we're looking for task scores of 65 or higher. Now, some students might not be sure. They say, I don't know if I passed the Regents or if I passed the RCTs. That was X amount of years ago, and I really don't recall. Best thing for you to do, because you would need to do it anyway, is to go back to your high school and get a transcript. It doesn't have to be official. You can get an unofficial transcript. But if you get the transcript, at the very least, we'll know which sections of the task you have to prepare. Okay? And you want to make sure that those Regents exams were actually Regents exams. It's happened in the past. Students have passed the RCTs, and unfortunately, we cannot honor their scores. Our task assessment coordinator is Miss Mustafa, and she's working remotely. Typically, she's in room 300, but she is working remotely. If you have any questions, if any of this is unclear and you need some clarity, you can contact her at rmustafa@schools.nyc.gov. Have you taken the GED already? Did you pass any parts? If you did, please raise your hand, because what we can do is we can help you apply for the GED subtest towards receiving your task HSC. Now, if you've taken the GED and you lost a record of your scores, we unfortunately cannot get that back for you. We can direct you as to what your next step should be. But by and large, you have to reach out to New York State, reach out to Albany, so that they can send you your scores. Once again, do you believe that you passed in any of the Regents exams? If so, please raise your hand, because we can help you apply those towards the task. All right. Now, if you passed a Regents exam that was not a core subject, unfortunately, that will not be honored. So, if you were in high school and you passed the Spanish Regents exam, unfortunately, that does not apply towards the task. It must be in the core subject areas. And again, you can go to your old high school and request what's called a transcript. It can be unofficial or official. Probably better off to start with the unofficial, so that it's easier for us to review and see if this is a section of the exam that you still need to prepare for. Okay, so we are offering waivers. This is, the sun is going to set very soon on this offer, but we do offer waivers. And you're eligible for a waiver if you've already passed 3 or 4 subjects on the GED or the task. All right, so let's say you've passed science, math, and social studies sections of the GED or the task. Okay, you only have 2 or 1 subject remaining. Well, you can bypass taking those sections of the exam by actively participating in a class. So you have to complete the necessary academic work in the class, and you must remain enrolled in the class until the waiver is given. So what do I mean? You passed 4 sections of the task already. Maybe math is the last section for you. Okay? If you enroll in our class and you participate in the class, I have to stress that. Participating, you're doing the work, the teacher can then advocate for you, the school can advocate for you, and tell the state that you've mastered this material. But it only works if you are actively participating. We've had in the past, unfortunately, it has happened that a student enrolled in the class, did not report, and then was expecting the high school equivalency in the mail. It doesn't work that way. You must be participating, okay? So I just need to make that abundantly clear. We've already discussed some of this information here. Passing scores from the Regents exams taken in high school may be substituted for a corresponding task subject. Okay, so for example, the Regents ELA exam may be used in place of both the reading and writing task subjects. Okay. New York State Education Department, NYSEDgov. As I mentioned earlier, if you've taken the GED or the task, you've passed certain sections, but you do not have any record of that, this is the website where you need to go in order to request a copy of those scores. Okay? So when you get to NYSED.gov, in the search box, you can type task and click into what is the HSC or task test. You'll get some free study materials, and it'll also direct you to the proper channels if you need to request an task score. Okay, let's talk a little bit about attendance. Attendance is extremely important. And when you log into your Google Classroom, you must fill out your daily attendance. Okay, attendance is what funds this program. So the students who are taking our classes now are able to do it because the students who came before them were attending classes regularly. Okay, so what we like to tell students is not only are you standing on the backs of those who came before you, but in addition to that, you're helping the next generation who's going to need classes and services like these. So please make sure that you are attending regularly. Make sure that you are on time. Okay? Because by doing that, you're helping somebody who is going to need that in the future as well. Okay. Again, information we just went over. Attendance is extremely important. If you commit to attending the class, please give it your all. And you should be in class for every session, for the entire session. We're adults. We know that people have appointments. Your children get sick. You're asked to work overtime. We understand these things happen. So we're not discrediting that. But what we do ask is that if you have a separate appointment or something does come up, please let your teacher know that you're going to be absent. You'll have your teacher's contact information. It's best if you contact your teacher directly. Sometimes what will happen is a student will be embarrassed, and rather than call the teacher, they'll call the main office. And say, well, my name is so-and-so. Can you please tell my teacher that I'm not going to be in class today? Let's do this the right way. Please contact your teacher directly. You must also complete what is called a work time record, and that's provided to your teacher bi-weekly. The purpose of this document is to give you credit for the work that you do complete. What's your name? There is a dress code in this program, and let's talk a little bit about that. Okay, so it's recommended that clothing which is appropriate for the virtual classroom or for the live classroom, such as polo shirts, button-down shirts, blouses, t-shirts, sweatshirts, sleeveless dresses, or shirts with straps no less than 3 inches wide. Okay, that is the recommended attire. All right, I know we're adults, but understand that what's acceptable to one group is not acceptable to another. So the safe thing to do is to keep your attire somewhat conservative. I don't mean conservative in terms of wearing a suit or, you know, wearing a dress jacket or anything like that, but obviously nothing that can be construed as offensive or inappropriate. Our students are expected to dress appropriately during the virtual classes. Okay, so the following dress code will apply. It can be a t-shirt, polo shirt, and sweatshirt. Okay. If you're wearing shorts, please make sure that they are appropriate. especially if we're able to see you in your entirety on camera. Same applies for pants and skirts. Sweats in good condition are allowed. Okay, so just please make sure that you're wearing clothing that is in good standing, in good condition. What's not allowed? Tank tops, halter tops, spaghetti strap tops. Any shirt or blouse that exposes an area above the waist. Any shorts or skirts that could be considered revealing or distracting. And any item of clothing with inappropriate writing. So, for example, a t-shirt that advertises alcohol or drugs. Even anything that is now legal in New York City, in good taste, we just ask that you refrain from wearing anything that might be advertising. So Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center offers many workshops and podcasts to meet the needs of our students. We hope to see you there. Okay. I believe in 2 weeks we're going to have a representative from the Office of Immigrant Affairs. No, I'm sorry, that's next week. Okay. So you'll be on the mailing list for that, and your teachers will also let you know when the podcasts are going to air. Typically they're live, and any student who wants to participate in the podcast on the air is welcome to do so. Okay, so that concludes the PowerPoint presentation. What I can do is I can take any questions that you might have. Now, one question that's been very popular has been the vocational classes at Co-op Tech. Those classes are returning. It's going to be a gradual return, but we will have some of those classes over the summer. And speaking of summer, we are also having summer school, be it for basic education or for English as a second language. Classes that are live during the day will meet here in the building, here in Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center, which is located at 212 West 120th Street. Our classes during the day will meet Mondays through Fridays from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. here at Mid-Manhattan Adult Learning Center. There will be BE classes, there will be ESL classes, and there will be vocational classes off-site. So, our evening classes for basic education and for English as a second language will meet at two different sites. One is up in Washington Heights, and those classes will meet Mondays through Thursdays from 5:40 p.m. to 9 p.m. There will also be a set of English as a second language and basic education classes, which will meet at Co-op Tech. That's one of our off-sites, and it's located at 321 East 96th Street. In addition to the English as a second language classes and the basic education classes, we will have some vocational classes over the summer. Those classes include, may not necessarily be limited to, but for now they include building maintenance, electrical installation, welding, Microsoft Office, graphic design, A+ computer repair, and Cisco networking. Those classes will meet Mondays through Thursdays from 4:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I have to stress that because summer school is only 5 weeks, again, it goes from July 6th to August 13th, no one is going to be certified in any of these areas for summer. It's simply not enough hours. Certification usually goes by the amount of seated instruction that you have and also any certification exams that you might be taking. So summer school, by and large, not for certification, but those hours can be applied for certification later on down the line, especially if you choose to continue taking those classes in the fall of 2021. All right, so again, that's Co-op Tech, 321 East 96th Street. Classes include, but are not limited to, electrical installation, welding, building maintenance, Microsoft Office, Cisco, A+ computer repair, and graphic design. All right. So let's check the chat box. very quickly, see if there are any questions. Would definitely like to acknowledge the students that are here. So, Johanny Rincon, welcome. Okay. Carmen Zuniga in Miss Linton's class, thank you for joining us. Empress Hodge from Miss Linton's AM class, I hope you are enjoying the class. Uzbek Adesquillo from Miss Linton's class, welcome. Elizabeth Candelario, also from Miss Linton's AM Microsoft class. Okay. And thank you so much, Miss Linton, for being so supportive and for tuning in. All right. Don't forget, folks, summer school. If you are interested in summer school and you are remote, your teacher will be sending you that information soon as to how you can go about applying for a class. All right. If there are no questions, then I guess we can wrap this up for today. I do want to thank everybody who tuned in. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making your presence known in the chat box. And of course, if you have any questions after this broadcast, you can reach out to me. Let's see if I can get my my information up on the screen here. So let's see. If you have any questions, you can email me at crosas@schools.nyc.gov. And by the way, if you have any friends, any family members that you think might be interested in the program, be it for the summertime or for the fall, you can certainly have them email me. That's fine. Certainly fine. Okay. Other information that might be helpful, I'm going to also put my telephone number up on the screen here. Please understand, however, that getting me live on the phone is extremely difficult. I'm rarely at my desk. I think everybody here in the building can attest to that. But in the event that you would like to contact me by telephone, the number is 212-666-1920, extension 1023. Don't let the 666 freak you out too much, right? Listening to too much 80s metal. All right, let's see if we have some more questions. Tene, when will be the end? That's difficult to say. I don't know that we're doing enough to combat climate change, but kidding. This academic year ends on June 25th. That will be our last day of school. That's on a Friday. All right. If you're in an evening class, that is on the 24th. 24th will be your last day. And if you are in a Saturday class, your last day will be on June 19th. All right. But for the day program, we go until June 25th. Then we will resume for the summer on July 6th. Go to August 13th, and then the next academic year begins on September 13th. Tene clarified. He says, when is the end of the wave? Okay. The wave, I believe, right now they're telling us July, but that is subject to change because of COVID. My advice to you would be, if you can apply for the waiver, the sooner you can do it, the better, because we don't know how much longer it's going to go on. I mean, the date has been pushed back more than once at this point. Okay. Any other questions? I don't think so. Okay, well, folks, once again, thank you for joining me. Have any questions, any concerns, you can reach out to me, crosas@schools.nyc.gov, or call at 212-666-1920, extension 1020. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we've answered all your questions. If not, definitely reach out. And for those of you that are joining us this summer, look forward to seeing you. Have a good day.